Good morning everyone, and welcome to the NT studio in Beilera. We've already made a video on how to install a water maker, which you can watch here. Today, we're going to take a look together at how to use the water maker. There are actually a lot of reasons to install a water maker on your boat. The first, among them, independence and freedom, because with a water maker, you no longer need to go to port to refill your water tanks. I can stay at anchor for indefinite periods, enjoying the peace and beauty in nature without having to worry too much about the water supply. Another important reason is to reduce environmental impact. Why install a water maker? I've eliminated the need to bring large amounts of plastic bottles on board, especially on short coastal trips. This means less plastic waste and a real contribution to protecting our oceans. Practicality and comfort, because having a continuous supply of fresh water on board has improved daily comfort for me and my family. I can take longer showers, cook, and clean without worrying. It's a significant economic saving because in the long run, a water maker can reduce operating costs since you need to go into port less often. That means lower mooring expenses and more autonomy at anchor. And just as important, health and safety, because the water produced by the water maker is usually safer and of higher quality than what's available in some ports, ensuring better health and hygiene. Using an electric water maker is simple and intuitive. Now I'm going to show you how it's done. Nowadays, thanks to better electronic components, all Urania marine water makers can be operated using a wireless device. The interface is easy and intuitive. You wouldn't even need any instructions, but since Urania Marine's mission has always been to make robust and reliable water makers, today I'm going to show you how to use it in manual mode. My advice is to use the water maker when you're underway for a couple hours a day with the engine running. So when there's no wind, in our case as a sailboat, it doesn't really matter. But if you have a motorboat, you won't have any issues either, because in that case you have to start the engine anyway, and using the water maker while underway is very practical. That said, pay close attention to where you activate the water maker, because the purity and cleanliness of the water beneath you is very important. If you turn on the water maker while you're in port, for example, you'll find the filters get completely dirty. They won't last long, and you'll have to take them apart, clean them, or even replace them. The first thing you need to do is make absolutely sure that the pressure valve handle is fully open. That is, turned counterclockwise. Let's check it. Here it is. This way, it's fully open. Now, the second step is to go to the electrical control panel to turn on the water maker. You can see the setup in the previous video. So in my case, the inverter control panel, I installed it together with the solar panel regulators. We turn on the inverter and it will show us the battery voltage. We're at 13.1 and it also displays the hertz and the voltage. The second step, after turning on the inverter and making sure the pressure valve is fully open, is to turn on the main switch. After making sure we've opened the safety valve through which the water maker draws water, we can turn it on. With the water maker running, thank you. This, which is the saltwater flow meter, should reach a flow of about 6 liters. Let's let it run for a bit, so that if there are air bubbles in the filters or in the electric pump, you'll see small bubbles rising up. So for 1 or 2 minutes, it should run without increasing the pressure in the water maker. Make sure the water maker's drain is clear and working properly. Now let's go back down. We need to gradually bring it up to 55 bars. At 55 bars, we'll start producing fresh water and desalinating it thanks to my reverse osmosis membrane. Let's open the valve. As you can see, it's completely open. All right. Now Now we're going to start increasing the pressure. As you can see, the pressure is going up. As the pressure increases, the saltwater pressure gauge will go down because the flow rate is 6 liters minus the 1 liter that's desalinated, 1.2, 1.3 liters. The higher the water temperature, the more water the system will produce. You can see it's gradually dropping as we increase the pressure. Now we're bringing it up to 55 bars. Here we are, we've made it. The membranes are delicate instruments, so please never raise the pressure above 55 bars. As you can see, here we've reached about 4 liters. Now, here it is. Production has started. The bubbles are normal because the line gradually empties after being used. Soon, you'll see that the bubbles will disappear and the flow meter will stabilize at a flow of about 1.2 to 1.3 liters, but this can vary. Here you can see that now, since there are no more air bubbles passing through, it is stabilized. This is our freshwater production per minute. At this moment, we have an outlet that I've simply connected to a water hose so we can fill both the tank and the jugs. We have a second outlet that can be connected to another water hose, which can go directly to the sink. That's what we'd like to do later on. Also connecting a remineralizing filter. And here I answer the question of all questions. Can you drink the water from the desalinator? Yes, but it depends on the level of salinity in the water, because the reverse osmosis desalinator removes not only salts, but also bacteria and microplastics. However, along with all of that, it also removes all the minerals. Therefore, to be able to drink it regularly, it needs to be remineralized. But we'll go deeper into this topic in an upcoming video. Now let's turn on the TDS meter. The TDS measures the dry residue. In our case, the dry residue isn't the same as in bottled mineral water. The dry residue in mineral waters measures calcium, potassium, and magnesium. In our case, seawater is mainly sodium. So this should be considered an indicator of salinity. 248 is an excellent salinity index. Let's say that up to 500, the water is drinkable. Above 500, the water becomes brackish. Seawater has a salinity index, a TDS, of about 32,000, which is mainly sodium, as mentioned before. What happens when you turn on the system? This TDS you see right now will show a value that will gradually decrease, which means the system had been used previously and the water inside has evaporated. That's why, after half an hour of use, the TDS will stabilize at a constant value. Remember, if you're not going to use the desalinator for more than 2 days, it's a good idea to rinse the membranes with fresh water. This is an automated process through the wireless display. And just like that, our desalinator is working perfectly and has already produced 5 liters of water. As we've seen, using a desalinator is really simple, and it's only when you actually have one on board that you realize how much it changes life on the boat. In the first comment, you'll find the link to discover the full range of Urania marine desalinators available at Hinelson. Have you already installed a desalinator on board? And if so, what's the benefit you appreciate the most? Write it in the comments. See ya! As always, out at sea, fair winds. Not too little, not too much, but just right.